to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life.
Come on now.
Shift your mind.
Yes, ma'am.
And raise the consciousness type of shit. I am Christie.
And I am Mia. And you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends for the next hour or so.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. So, okay, you guys, last week, we talked about two of my favorite words. Like, I mean, I am. So
y'all know that was Mia's episode.
I was in love. I was just, Christy brought it up. I was like, oh my God, yes. Okay, so just to give you a quick little recap. When we proclaim I am, we are taking ownership over our lives. Mm-hmm. So what follows after these two words helps to shape our world, as our words have tremendous power. So, as you speak, you create. Mm-hmm. So be careful and mindful and intentional about what you say after the words I am.
Yes, ma'am.
So tonight I'm going to say I am healed, I am beautiful.
Yes.
I am loved. Mm-hmm. I am powerful.
Amen.
I am wealthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
You don't know what I'm saying. You don't know what I'm saying. Ching, ching, ching goes a money tree.
Hey.
What we talking about today, sis?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that may be considered a little controversial for some. It may be a little woo-woo for others. But we're talking about soul contracts. Mm-hmm. You all may have heard this term. I also heard of pre-birth planning. I don't think I necessarily like that term.
I like soul contracts.
Soul contract makes sense to me. But you all may have heard this term, but our soul contracts are agreements that our soul made before we were born into this lifetime, this particular lifetime.
So, I know this can be a little difficult to digest, especially if you've had some traumatic soul contracts, right? But here it's out.
Many of us have.
Honestly. Understanding this concept of a soul contract, I think it's very freeing, right?
Yeah.
Because it makes you realize that everything that we experience in our life is a choice.
Yep.
And by design.
Exactly. Our design,
right? And it'll help us shift our perspective away from this victim mentality, especially when terrible things happen. Mm-hmm. But also understanding that everything happens for us and not to us. Yep. So when you think about some of these soul contracts, these relationships that you have in your life, and I'll say this too, it includes our human soul, the people that we are interacting with on a human level, and also your spiritual team.
Yep.
So, it'll allow you to trust yourself in the process. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm going to ask you all, if you are tuning in, to just listen to this episode with an open mind. Think about it, like listen to the episode as if it were fiction. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so believe it or not, every person has a group of non-physical beings that, for me, I like to call my soul team. Some people say they're spiritual team. Some people, give different terms. I encompass them. I encompass them all as my soul team. And those are the soul team. They assist and protect us. They guide us throughout our human lives. And so basically this team can consist of angels, spirit guides, higher dimensional beings, spirit animals, ancestors. But ultimately the purpose is to guide us throughout this physical reincarnation that we are experiencing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So before we enter this life, think about it like this. Mm-hmm. Before you picture, I like to call us parent spaceships. Yes. Before, when you were consciousness, is before you decided to, which spaceship you're going to jump onto this blue pearl with. Mm-hmm. That's what I like to call Earth, you guys.
Blue pearl.
There are some things and lessons that we decided, because remember, the trick with coming down here is you forget who you are.
Yes.
So we set these lessons, these traps, these achievements, these goals, these peoples, and these soul contracts to awaken us to remember who we are.
Yeah.
So we have these themes. We decide that we must experience and have in order to expand and grow in our spirit as humans and remember who we truly are. So Remember, we are the manifestation. Woo!
Yeah, this is, oh my gosh, I just
of all the possibilities Spirit wanted to experience in human form. Think about it. When you were in just consciousness, you said, okay, you actually chose to experience this. Like, this is what I want to experience in this lifetime, because there's other lifetimes and other dimensions, and this is so. Trust that what you designed, and that's why I think this conversation is so important, Christy, because it allows you to be, for lack of better words, to be okay with the ups and the downs, because you know that you designed this, and it's all for you. Yep. It's all for you to remember who you are and why you're here. Yep. Okay.
So I was listening to someone today, and they mentioned, so Mia just said, we are expressions of spirit, because spirit wanted to be able to, like, spirit doesn't know how to feel, doesn't know how to love. Spirit wanted to be able to experience itself.
Experience this beautiful stuff I made. Let me feel this.
So someone compared this to the Big Bang Theory, to Source, basically breaking itself up into pieces, which became us. And I thought that was just interesting. I was like, oh, that's really fascinating. So think about, like, the science that we hear, and I honestly believe that there are some truths to everything. But I just thought that was cool, and I wanted to share.
Well, I agree. Honestly, when I think about, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before, but when I think about I am, when I think about the source, what I think is, I imagine this void, just of nothingness, and all of a sudden, when I think about Big Bang, I just imagine just blackness, a void of nothingness, and all of a sudden there's a wave, there's a frequency, and I think I am. A lot of spiritualists believe that was the first sound ever created, right? Yes. So, and in that, and it's like there's an knowledge of existence, which is why, to me, I am is so powerful, because it's just like, I exist, I am. And then Source said, okay, well, what can I be? And you have all these iterations of lives and galaxies and planets, and because Source is not just us, it's plants, it's everything, it's solar system, it's everything.
Animals.
So we are all equal, right? Because Source said, I just want to see what I can become, and I feel like, and I'm sorry if I'm being tangential, you guys, but I feel like that exploration of what I can be all stems from what I believe is the first feeling and thought of love, because I recognize who I am and I love myself. Let me stretch my limits to see what I can be.
Wow.
And so that's how I see it. And so, you know what I mean? It's just,
that's expanding the consciousness.
Yes. It's just a continual expansion. So that's in deep. This form, in this human form, and I have never taken the time, Christy, I don't know, have you, to think, like, do other beings have, well, I guess they do, because some of our soul, I was going to say, do other beings have soul contracts? Because I was thinking,
because that's,
you're right. Yeah. So, but in the deal with this, it's almost like the contract to be human is when you get here, you have to forget. But the journey to remembering is dope.
It is really dope. And
it's dope.
There are some people who also believe that, so, like, we might have spirit guides who are fulfilling a soul contract. And in another reincarnation, we may be a spirit guide to someone else. Helping someone else to fulfill a soul contract. So it's really interesting. I mean, honestly, just open your mind to all of this. I know it may sound crazy to some, but all right. So some of the topics,
they're used to us by now. They'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start talking about these topics. All right. So Mia said this earlier. We chose this. We chose this life. We wrote this story for ourselves. We made ourselves the main character in the story. So everything has already been written. And once you have that understanding, then you realize that you would never put yourself in a situation where
that you can't get out of. You know how people say God would never put you through something.
Yes.
The God in this situation is you.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, sorry if somebody finds that offensive, but I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
The God in that situation is you.
Yeah.
You will never put yourself in a situation if you trust.
As
you start learning who you are, and that I'm literally just a splinter from the original consciousness, the first I am.
Baby.
I gotta trust it.
Yeah.
You gotta trust it.
So we chose this life. We chose our name. We chose our family. We chose, our sole purpose. We even chose the traumas that we experience in our lives.
Because, with chaos is creation.
That's true.
Honestly, with chaos is creation. Every time...
Evolution, yeah, I agree.
Bam. When you think about how we grow and expand and learn and elevate, oftentimes it comes from some chaos. Hell, think about... the Hawaiian Islands. Mm-hmm. That's nothing but because of chaos, because of volcanic eruptions. We have this beautiful, beautiful place, but it's because of chaos.
Yep.
So that we chose that too.
We sure did. And then you may find that in another lifetime, your mother was your sister. Your child was your mother. Your father was your brother. Roles shift throughout different timelines, which is fine. Like Mia and I, we've come to the conclusion that we're soul sisters. I mean, I'm sure we've had several iterations of relationships, which is so fascinating.
I love that.
Yeah.
And think about again, how empowering it is to say to yourself, I chose this. So even when you're having those moments, like I told Chrissy today, I was like, Fran, sis not okay today. I was like, it's the last couple of days, it's just been rough for me. And I mean, crying and just having this, I know that I'm releasing something. I know we just journeyed.
Yes, we did.
So I know that there's some integration there.
Lots of it.
But it's understanding that I'm a part of the I am, and understanding that I chose this, and understanding that the people in my life who I'm interacting with are part of the people that I chose to be. We put contracts in to help each other, to lift each other, to help awaken each other.
Hello.
To help awaken. Seriously, Christie is a bridge. Christie is a bridge between this human world and the spirit world, period. Over and over and over again, she shows that. I'm an awakener. And so you have all these different people in your life for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And so we need each other at different times. Yeah. And when you think about that, even the people who aren't what you say aren't good for you.
Yeah.
You need them too. So
because they serve a purpose.
They serve a purpose in your life to remind you of who you are, your power, and the knowledge that you have and the wisdom. And just imagine walking around this world, which is my goal, to be here in this world with full knowledge of the wisdom of my soul, where my soul has been, where my spirit has been in every lifetime, situation, dimension, space, planet, and time. And be able to remind people that they have that too. What?
Yes, they
Get
do.
out of here.
Yep. Yeah. And so, so like you were saying, on a soul level, our challenging circumstances help us to evolve. But one of the things that we also need to be reminded of is that we have a soul team that is there to support us, assist us, guide us, help us navigate through this life as humans. And just remembering that they can't intervene without our permission.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Acknowledge them.
Yep.
And so, okay. So, Christy, I talked about this before. Mm-hmm. Ancestral healing and connecting with your ancestors. So before, I was like, that's not anything. And I said, in my journey where I am, that wasn't necessarily a part of where I was, but I look at ancestors differently now.
Oh, you do?
I don't necessarily just see that as my human DNA, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my great-great-great-grandmother.
Oh, yeah, no, that's all of it.
Yes, but I did honestly,
like
when I would think of family. Yes, I didn't think of my ancestors as outside of human DNA type ancestors.
Well, think about our origins. Like, remember we were talking about that over the weekend?
I don't know why I didn't connect it to that, but now I do.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, actually, I've been doing ancestor work and healing forever. I just didn't think of it as ancestral.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So when I think about my soul family, now I think about my ancestors, because your soul family's here to help you heal. Like Christy said, you have these spiritual guides, angels, deities, what we call gods and goddesses. And I'll tell you this, when I think about gods and goddesses on this earth, I think what they truly were or are is humans here who understood who they were, who tapped into the wisdom of their soul, who tapped into the knowledge of who they were, and were able to manifest that here on earth. That's what I think, like when we think about the Greek gods, the Roman gods, the Egyptian gods, that's what I think they were. So when we call each other gods and goddesses, that's a motherfucking thing.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a call to action to wake up.
Wake up,
everybody. Okay, sorry.
So another thing is that, like, as we've written out our life, life events, there are life events that help us to heal. So I don't know if you all have listened to all of the episodes, but I have shared and I've been very open about it and transparent about my first marriage being abusive. And so I think about that marriage and that relationship and everything that I endured and everything that I went through to help me get to this point.
Yes.
These things happen for me or for us, and they help to shift us into a higher consciousness.
Think about it. If you didn't have that challenge, would you think you would be who you are today?
No. I would still be. And
you got two beautiful beings out of it, too.
True. Facts. And I tell people all the time, I would do it again, knowing that I would still come out with the same kids that I birthed. But
yes,
it's true. Like, what I went through, I would not be who I am today had I not gone through that. And it took me some time to get to the point where I could look at what I went through in my first marriage and realize, you know what? Yes, it was rough. It was traumatic. I have a separated shoulder from it that reminds me every single day. But I would not trade it for the world, because I would not be who I am today because of it. I would still be minimizing myself. My throat chakra would be way closed. Like, I would be a completely different person. I would have no voice. I would have no voice, and I would be invisible.
And I mean, honestly, when I think about, when I talk about my mom, my biological mother, it took me a very long time to forgive her, forgive myself, and unfortunately, she passed away before I got to the point where I could thank her. Like, I mean, when I think about this woman now, it's nothing but love. And I mean, baby.
I can only imagine.
I mean, but it's so much love, because I understand that she didn't know who she was. But
think about it this way.
But she birthed me.
Yeah.
And she, you know what I mean?
She birthed the queen.
She did. I mean, she did. She was a willing vessel, and I appreciate her for that. But if I was not born during the time where she had her struggles, I would not be the woman I am, by far and away. The strength that I have, the resilience. I'm like, I'm a survivor. Like, you just
even
not
the
gonna
intuition.
Get me. Yes. I mean, I had angels with me when I was a kid, and because she just couldn't be there. She was a crackhead. She just really couldn't be there, and I was so angry for so long. But when I understood who I am and who we all are and how we are all connected, I wish so bad that this woman's still alive, because I would just want to treat her like a queen, just to awaken her to know, like, baby, I know it was rough, but you did this, you really did, And that's a different type of compassion and understanding. And that's not because I went out to figure out how to forgive her. It's because I went to figure out who the fuck I am.
Exactly. And
if that's you think about it. And that's a soul contract I made with this woman.
And if you think about it, she was fulfilling her soul contract.
She sure did.
And my ex-husband was fulfilling his soul contract.
Bam.
So it's like,
it's almost like, thank you.
We all have a purpose.
Yep.
And my ex-husband's purpose was to awaken me.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it completely amazing.
It's the way you think about it now. Isn't it different?
It is completely different.
The anger, nope. I have not one bit. And if I were to sit up here to tell like all the things that I went through, just, we had the lights weren't on. I had to go steal food from the corner store to feed me and my younger sister. Like, it was, this shit makes no sense. Like, all before that, like between 0 and 9, like the foundation of who I am.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I was so embarrassed and so like God forgot about me and nobody loves me. All this stuff. Like, this woman's supposed to love me. What's wrong with her? Like, she's my mother. I ain't asked to be here. What the hell? Yes, you did. I did. And I asked for that. And I know that sounds so messed up. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I didn't ask for this.
Mm-hmm.
But I asked for it to grow and learn through it. And that set me up for, like, of course there are things that I had to heal from, but I also understand the strength that I have. I can't buy this.
You cannot.
Exactly. I literally can't. I can't buy this.
Yep.
It's a part of who I am. And that's what we agreed upon before she got here. And I wish to God that I could thank her for fulfilling her contract. Because I can't even imagine. I mean, you know what I mean. I have thanked her, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
I mean, I just, but that's only from trusting and knowing me now. Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with me trying to figure her out. It's like, wait, hold on, this don't make no damn sense. Let me, the math ain't mathing, sis. Let me add this up.
Yep. I was laughing at your math post today, by the way. Or was it yesterday? Helping Jay with her homework.
Friend, it's not my thing, okay? She was like, Mommy, can you help me? I'm like, sure. I sat down. I was like, oh, shit. But I'm trying to play it up.
Like, you're like,
Thank God for Khan Academy.
Right.
And Google, because I had to get the Google in. I was like, I never liked fractions. I want to fight them. Because I have not used fractions now one motherfucking time.
We don't use it.
I don't, except for in a recipe. But guess what? I have measuring cups.
Exactly.
I don't need nothing. I know how to double a recipe. That's about all I need.
You're right. Exactly. So within our soul contracts, and we talk about this too, we also have free will.
Oh.
So we were born on this planet during this time for a soul purpose. We have a purpose. We don't just wake up, go to work, do laundry, do dishes, whatever the case may be, just to do it.
Can we pause on that for a second? Chrissy, do you know how many people walk around this earth and think that's literally what their life is?
No, but that's their soul contract. Okay, well, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Do you think that's part of their soul contract?
I just think they haven't been awakened.
So then is their soul contract for this lifetime for them not to know and not to be awakened?
Okay. So this is what I think about that. Seriously. I think there are people who are not to be awakened because they are from here, if that makes any sense. You know, remember I was talking about these people that are just... Yes. Mm-hmm. They're kind of fillers. They're the extras in the movies.
Yes.
Okay, but I think that the issue is the more that people awaken to who they are and take sovereignty over their body and their mind and their spirit, you can't be controlled anymore.
Right.
So just as we've gotten more sophisticated in our awakening, the ones that want to keep us asleep have gotten more sophisticated with their technology as well.
Exactly.
So
media.
Sorry. That. Seriously. So think about everything that we take in. Like so I can start to awaken, but I can be so caught up in this matrix, in this time and in the programming that as soon as I start to awaken, they can figure out a way to get me distracted and thinking about, like, I need to be about my money, I need to be about my bag, I need to blah, blah, blah. And yes, you can do that too, but then what happens is that becomes your focus, and then you become, I'm hustle, I grind, I book. And no one will start to then it takes you away from starting to think like, wait, but what am I for real here for? Because at the end of the day, you're not here to make money. That shit's not even real. But yes. if I have you focused on your just the five senses, on seeing whatever you, if I can make you only believe what you can see, touch, feel, taste, and hear, I got your ass. Because now you're not thinking about, feel with your physical hands. Now you're not thinking about spiritually who I am. Like, no, but for real though, like, when you start to ask the question, okay, let me think about this. Hold on. So you trying to tell me that all of us are down here to get up,
just because,
hustle, make money for stuff
that we can't die, that we can't take
with us, right? And die? Like, that doesn't even make fucking sense when you say it out loud. You're like, that sounds stupid. That's not what we're here for. But if I keep you distracted thinking, like, and I tell you, you're a good person when you do this. You're, you're an elevated person. You're above the rest. And now I got you because you won't think about who you really are. Because as soon as you find out who you are, guess what you do? Man. You go tell a friend. Be like, hey, sis, guess what I found out? This shit ain't nothing. Who we really are is... And then you would tell another friend, and now I'm losing control of you. Because I need your energy. I need you doing what I want you to do. Like, man, you messing up the matrix.
Yep. Again, we've said this before. What I do affects you. What you do affects the next person.
Yes.
But again, we have free will.
Yes, we do.
One thing we can't change is our destiny, but we have free will.
So here's the thing. I think with the free will, Christy, like, I feel like the game. Because, I know I think this is a game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And this is another reason why I like astrology. Because astrological sciences, I'm going to call it that. Because I honestly think if you think of this as a game.
Ooh, I meant to send you something.
Ooh, please send it.
So they were saying that, okay, this is a what if. Because remember, we are opening.
You're probably about to say what I'm about to say. Go ahead.
So we are listening with an open mind.
Open heart.
An open heart. So I saw something. Someone said, what if our astrological sign
codes for who we bitch, I'll throw this mic at you. Yes, that's literally exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly what I think it is, right? So they give us these
characters that we are supposed to play.
Exactly. So I think part of the game rules. This is what I truly believe this, and y'all might think I'm crazy.
Just finished Squid Game too.
I'm scared to watch it. I'm scared to watch Squid Game.
Are you?
I am.
Oh, well, you don't like blood and gore and stuff.
I don't.
She likes that Lifetime
holiday scene. I think I'm scared to watch it because I think it's too real. The little bit that I did see, I'm like, But I do think that it's, for lack of a better words and a vocabulary to describe this, I do think it is a game. But I think one of the rules of the game is we have to tell the truth because people have to have free will. I think free will is like a thing, but the game gets a little tricky. So I can tell you the truth because you get to choose
movies,
but I'm gonna tell you it's fiction. It's a fairy tale.
Movies,
mythology. That's not mythology, bitch. That's history. Like movies. This is fictional. Somebody made this up. No, that's somebody remember.
They channeled
straight. Yes, absolutely. But if I present it that way, it's like I'm following the rules of the game.
It's like, no, it's not.
I've shown you entertainment. I introduced the concept of entertainment because now I got you to work for nothing. Now I got you distracted. Now I'm gonna give you some free time, and so the people in power in this matrix say, but
I told them.
I mean, I'm following the rules. They're like, So and I've said this to you before, or I think I was talking to Shannon. I just said, I think that's part of what the fight is spiritually, like a little bit above us. Is it's like you're not playing like we had some rules when we built this. They're like, I'm following the rules. It's like, no, the rule is that you have to tell the truth and allow people to their free will. So that it's like you're not really being honest. So I think what's happening, and I said this today, we shall know the truth and the truth shall set us free. And even with Because if you give somebody enough of a lie, fear monger so much, and when you present them with the truth, okay, we're kidding, here it is.
Yep.
They still gonna believe.
Right.
So I think that's what's about to happen. I think, and I told you guys, I think the uncovering, the falling, the crumbling.
Oh, what's happening?
It's already happening. But there will still be people, even when presented with the full truth, that would choose the lie because it feels so much damn better. Yeah. And that's the damn trick. So I do think free will, I believe, is a very real thing. But I think, there's a little trick in the game. And I think the spirit world is kind of fighting that out a little bit. And that's part of what I call, like, what we're calling our spiritual warfare. It's just, nope, y'all not following the rules. But in the meantime, there are those of us, and I'm going to say even those who are listening, who's like, something don't smell right. I don't know what.
Something doesn't feel right.
But it just doesn't feel right. And when we start to trust ourselves, while we talk about these soul contracts, as I said, it gives you a little bit of more freedom. It just gives you a different perspective. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, what? Okay, so let's just say, what if this is true?
What if this is the contract?
What if this is true? What am I supposed to learn from this? And if you decide, hey, this is some bullshit, they crazy, that's okay too. Mm-hmm. But allow yourself the opportunity to go down that road, even with your loved ones, your friends, your family, what if this is what I signed up for, and these people, like your ex-husband, my ex-husband, girl, ooh, child, I got some, and I'll tell you, it's difficult to look at the people that have hurt you, and say, it gets to the point where you're just like, thank you. I appreciate you for doing your job.
I don't have a problem now because I already know.
But it's hard to get there. Once you're there, you're like, I get it. I appreciate you. Oh my God.
Thank you. So,
like, seriously.
Bet you wish you could still be with this.
You filled your contract. Boy, it's ding, ding, ding.
I'm fulfilling mine too. Without you. Yeah. But, something else to consider or to think about too is even death. Like, how we choose to exit this realm is something that we agreed upon too.
Oh yeah, I
remember we had a conversation. You were like,
they already showed me. I'm like, I'm not, but because I'm gonna tell you what that does for me. When in a situation where I could be afraid, I'm a fool. But I love myself. But even in a situation where I would be afraid, where like I don't fear death, because I
don't either.
I know not it's anymore. Like, you know what I mean, like, and it's not because I'm like, oh my God, it's not that. It's just I've been made aware of, and let's just say I'm wrong. Let's just say I'm freaking wrong, right? Death is not final. Death is moving on to the next stage. So I'm okay with that too. So
someone, okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I share this analogy?
Yes.
So someone made an analogy about death. It's like, okay, say you have an ink pen and you use the pen, the pen fulfills whatever it's supposed to do. It writes, and the pen eventually loses ink. It's time for you to get a new pen. And it's almost like, that's like they liken that to...
Absolutely. I love that.
The chapter has closed. It's time for you to move on to the next chapter and to become a new pen.
Seriously, you guys, I do feel like once I had an understanding of who I was and why I'm here, I'm okay. And I totally understand. I'm done. I leave this place when I'm done with what I'm supposed to do. And it's after I've awakened enough of us, and then you awaken enough of us, then it's like I fulfill my job here. But what this also does is make me say, I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this place.
There you go. Yep.
Oh, I'm about to enjoy this creation because we made this. It's beautiful. Yeah. Like when you start looking at this place, this beautiful freaking place that we created, And I think Earth is one of those places where we've taken all the beautiful things from all the other dimensions and planets and places, and we put them on here. When I look at our trees, when I look at our oceans, when I look at the animals, when I look at, even the fairies, that all of it's here. We are the experiment to see how we can join so much of God's creation on one place. I'll be good goddamn if I'm going to let y'all trick me into not experiencing loving this. I said this to Shannon. I said, I look at this like this is an island vacation in my soul's life.
You mentioned that too.
When it's time to go, it's time to go, leave this vacation. But while I'm here,
gonna enjoy it. I'm
about to enjoy this. And I'm gonna still do my work.
Mia does enjoy her. She enjoys this vacation.
I'm gonna enjoy this vacation. I'm like, yeah. I was sleep long enough. Thank you. Now I'm here. I get it. Y'all rolling? Come on. I'm riding rainbows.
She is riding rainbows. When I tell you she is,
I'm trying.
When I tell you she is.
And I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to awaken and remember who we are, because I'm looking at this place look outside your damn window. Do you see what's outside your window? You get to see this beautiful sunrise every freaking morning, Chrissy.
And it is such a blessing. I feel like that has even shifted.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I know. I definitely know when it's my time. I mean, I know the age, and I don't want. The only reason I won't say it.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Is because I don't.
Words are powerful. We already talked about that.
But I ain't tripping at all. I'm totally okay with it. I got some time, and I'm about to enjoy this, and if I could magic genie stuff for people, it would be to get to the point where you okay with what your life is, and because it allows you to trust yourself and be like, oh, okay, now that I know what ride I'm on and where and how it ends, buckle up, bitches.
Right.
We about to have a ball.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, like I say, even today I'm crying. Today I was like, and it's just like, okay, well, that means I'm learning something else. What we doing today? Mm-hmm. I told Chrissy, I said, look, hey, can you hurry up with these punches? Come on. Let's do this and learn my lesson, because I understand. I designed this, and I'm here at this point for a freaking reason. Boy, that's some freeing shit, I'm telling you. Because then you feel like you're doing life, not life doing you.
Say that again.
You're doing life. Life ain't doing you. Cheers. You heard me? Cheers.
No, I really like that. And
have you thought about I'm curious what your perspective is with death.
So initially, I would say before I got to this space, I was afraid of death, because of course, in our human form, death is mysterious. Mm-hmm. Death is the unknown. Mm-hmm. That's why they display bodies in the funeral home. And I remember growing up, my father would say these things. He was like, if an alien were to ever come down and see some of the things that us humans do, they would probably think we are very weird.
We are.
So you take the shell of a human.
You take the consciousness out of this avatar.
Right. And then you display the avatar for everyone to see in a box, and then you put the box in the ground. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I think, growing up, he always talked about stuff like that, so I think I've gotten accustomed to thinking beyond the normal way of thinking. But now I look at death as it's not a means to an end, it is a means to evolve.
Yes.
It's just another chapter. It's just, you're not from this physical form. I am transitioning from this physical form into another form. I'll probably even move to another human physical form, another physical form. But I don't
think about that if I would come back to.
I don't fear it.
It depends. I
might come back as a dog because Brantley's over here living the life.
The good life. Brantley said, "What? I heard my name."
Right. Brantley's over here begging.
Why do you think? Seriously, why do you think humans fear death?
Because it's the unknown. For us, for humans, everything has, like you said, the 5 senses or the 6 senses. We have to be able to see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, feel it,
or it's not real to us,
or it's not real. And so death, like once a person leaves their body, we don't know what's on the other side. So there's like this whole mystical thing. Well, what happens? We don't know. Do they go to heaven? Do they go to hell? There's all of these things that religion teaches us and that religion's programmed us to believe. So there's that unknown factor that we don't know, and I think that's what scares us.
This woman, I was listening to NPR, I think it was at Snap Judgment or one of those shows that I love to listen to on Sundays. And I remember this woman talking about, you know, she was, oh God, who was this talking? I'm so sorry. I wish I could remember. But the knowledge that I got, the wisdom, I should say, that I got from this woman, she said, when you are older and you're in your last days, and you know you're just like, okay, it's about my time. I'm wrapping this up. You don't regret the things that you know that you tried and went out on a limb for. You regret the stuff that you didn't.
Yes.
Do, that we had fear of, where we just said, "Oh, but if I do that, and what if this happens?" She said, "Those are the regrets. It's not the failures. You never regret the failures
because they're lessons that were learned."
Yes, you regret not trying. And I mean, when you listen to a lot of even Jay-Z says in one of his lyrics, he said, "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of not trying." Is that Jay-Z or Kanye? I'm pretty sure it's Jay-Z. But you know what I mean? Like, so that's a real thing. We talked about this before. On my last days, I don't want to be thinking about, damn, I should have launched that business just to see. That's not, I want to be like, woo, baby, what a ride.
Well,
Thank
and it's
you.
so interesting that you said that, because ever since I would say this was about when I was a teenager, I always said to myself that I never want to have regrets.
Yes, those are the regrets. I
never want to have regrets. And
it's not the failure. It's not,
right.
It's even in relationships. It's not, oh my goodness.
It was a waste of time.
It was a waste of my time to be with, like.
No, because Mia said that if there was love involved, it wasn't a waste.
Love ain't never a waste of time. Even if you're the only one in love.
Facts.
I'm very serious. Like, love is transformational for you. It
really is.
Even if you are the only one there.
And it's such a blessing just to be able to love.
Damn, it's beautiful.
It really is.
Even having the capacity. Do y'all understand there's people walking around this earth who do not have the capacity to feel love, to give love, to accept? No, ma'am.
Wow.
It ain't never a waste of time. I'll take it. Give me yours.
But I will say that once you become fully aligned with your soul purpose, you start to become more aware of synchronicities. And I think that's like where people were like, oh my gosh, I keep seeing these angel numbers, or this one song keeps coming up.
Come on, Christy.
I don't know what it is, but it's just something. But that is our soul team getting our attention to help guide us. And again, we wrote all this out.
I love it.
I do too. Like, it's like this beautiful story that unfolds. And if you pay attention, well, no, I'll say if you don't pay attention, you miss the details.
I mean, and this is the thing, you guys. It comes to us in every place and every time. Like, the synchronicities with numbers, it'll come up on your timeline, on your feed. Dreams you have. You'll be like, wait, I remember that dream.
Oh, I gotta tell you.
And I keep saying this over and over again. I know Christy probably tired of hearing me, but she knows I say this. And y'all are probably tired. This is why I write this shit down. This is when I have these moments. I remember something. It'll be something to me that clicks and be like, "Hey, go write that down." And actually, one of the I think it's maybe Uncorked Witch on IG. One of them wrote something like, "I love when I go back and read something that I wrote in the past that is relevant to today." I was like, "Oh my God." That is one of the most.
I have to admit, you've got me written. You got me writing stuff.
Because you go back and read, and you're just like. It's almost like your higher self knew
it's already
that you today would need to see that. And sometimes, and I know how my memory might not be the best sometimes, but it's like I remember everything, but sometimes I need some details, and I go back and read something like, oh my goodness. And it's, you know how fascinating it is to be like, I knew. Like, for real knew. Like, I got evidence and proof. And that allows me to further trust myself. Yeah. That's why
and that's also spiritual validation too.
Spiritual for yourself. Yeah. Exactly. So, okay, here's a question. I know people are thinking of it because sometimes these soul contracts suck while you're in the middle of it.
Oh yeah.
Them hurts.
I don't like this.
I don't like this.
I want off the ride.
I changed my mind.
Get me off the ride.
So, people think about breaking soul contracts. And I also want you to think about this too. I want you to tell me what you think about breaking soul contracts and soul ties. Because I've heard a lot of people be like, I got a soul tie to this person. I need to break it. Tell me what you think about that as I sip my wine.
Mm-hmm. So,
need a little bit more
I do think that we can rewrite soul contracts. Mm-hmm. I didn't actually think that you could until I started researching with our episode for today. And the reason why I say that is, well, one, we have free will. Ooh, and again, if something is not in alignment with what our soul is feeling, we have, like you say, or like we say, we are sovereign beings. So we can make the decision to say, well, this is what I desire for myself. So you might have written a soul contract where, and again, you might have written,
it was a different world,
right? And you might have written a soul contract within a soul contract. So that's another thing too. But that's going a little too deep, and I think I've been drinking a little too much to even go further into that. But I do believe you can rewrite a soul contract. And what was the next question?
Soul ties.
Soul ties. I do believe in soul ties. I do believe that we can allow ourselves to get really deeply connected with someone to the point where they constantly have access to us.
Okay. So.
But that is, we gave them permission to do that.
Exactly. I think that sometimes when we aren't aware of the fact of who we are and that we have soul contracts and that we have, that we're sovereign beings, we will attach ourselves and allow other beings to attach themselves to us where we have these ties with them.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, and I know everybody would not agree with this, especially a lot of spiritual people may not agree with this, but I do think that we can cut soul ties. Because I think soul ties are something that happens sometimes. Sometimes they're knowingly, willingly, but I think sometimes we don't even know what the hell we're doing.
Right, I agree.
And when I would say especially sexually sometimes.
Oh,
because when you think about what happens when you are enmeshing yourself with someone energetically through sex, it's so much deeper than.
Make sure it's the right person, folks.
Girl, I'm gonna have to clear out some garbage.
Right.
Some garbage.
Garbage. Okay, I'm just checking the time. But no, I definitely I agree with that. That resonates with me. So do you think that part of our contract is for all of us to work on karmic debt?
Ooh.
Or do you feel like maybe...
I don't think everybody has karmic debt.
Okay, do you feel like our guides may be working out karmic debt and they're helping us to break that?
That, yes. Okay. I think especially some of our guides who are formerly human. I definitely think so. So if you're...
Interesting.
But not all.
Okay.
So for instance, if your grandfather is one of your spirit guides, I think that spiritually you can choose to stay and be a guide. But I do think that I feel like this world, this matrix is an opportunity for a lot of things. So I think there's a lot of people here who are working out karmic debt so that they can ascend. So I come here to help so that I can go to another place where I can create my own worlds.
Yep.
But your heart has to be pure enough and real enough and understanding who you are to get there. So sometimes we come back over and over again, and there will be some lessons because we don't wake up. You'll come back to this place over and over and over and over and over again to relearn this lesson because we don't sometimes it may take people lifetimes to understand, like, wait a minute, hold on, I got some backup, I got a team. Yes. That happens too. Yep. So yeah, there'll be people who will live this life and not awaken, not even a teeny bit. They'll be back. Yeah. Because they have to clear some karmic debt. Yep. And there are some who will say, okay, I'm clearing my karmic debt by helping. And I think but I don't think that all of our guides and our helpers on the spiritual side are clearing karmic debt. I think this is what they chose. Yeah. I think, like, when I think about the energy of, like, Kuan Yin, she could totally be gone. It's like, but she chose to be here. I want to say one of her tenets is until they stop crying, I'm still going to be here. And that's a beautiful thing, because she's choosing to be here to help people ascend and see who they are. And I think you have those people spiritually, and then you have those people who are spiritual but human, doing the same type of work. I love that. You know, and I think that's dope.
Beautiful. Yes. Okay, right. So what's the takeaway for you?
Honestly, it's trust your journey. Mm-hmm. When you're presented with the lesson, with the hardship, instead of thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, my life is so fucked up." If you change your perspective and say, "Wait a minute, hold on. Let me listen to these crazy women for a second. Just think.
Drinking wine.
Why am I doing this? Right. This is what if I designed for me to go through this terrible situation? What if I designed?
What if?
Let me just think about it for a second and say, well, what am I supposed to learn? That would change your freaking life.
It changes the way
Seriously.
that you
see yourself,
and
see
that
your
the way,
life.
Yes, and the way that you even step up to these challenges, and
different. You step up to these challenges in full gear with a bat in your hand, like, okay, you're throwing curveballs.
And like you said, you're like, okay, let's get these punches over with.
Come on, what we doing? Because I know I set it up. So and that takes away that victimhood that something's happening to me. It's like, okay, so if I trust me, okay, Mia, because I've been through a couple of things and I'm still here, so I can trust myself. Look, what are we talking about? Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you will have no pain. It's just that you trust yourself to go through it. Yeah. What about you?
So I think, my takeaway from all of this is just to remember that we chose this. And remembering that we can overcome any challenge that comes our way, because we wrote this out. Like, we wrote this as part of the story. This is the plot to our journey. And we've overcome other things, so we can overcome whatever is, whatever challenge we need to face.
Absolutely.
And I also want to remind you all that are listening to this is that you are bigger than your challenges, because you wrote this story out. And I think that, again, changes
How you going to be mad at yourself? You the author. You did this. For a reason, Hello. When we go to temple work?
Temple work.
Okay, so.
Y'all get your journals out.
So hopefully this episode has got you thinking about your own relationships in your life, your own soul contracts. And we've said this before, you guys, like, when you think of your relationships as mirrors of who you are and where you are in life, I want you to think about the reflection that you see in the mirror in your relationships, okay? So I remember one time we did some temple work, and we wrote some letters to some other people. This time, I want you to think of two different reflections, two different soul contracts in your life. One that you find challenging, or would you say that you don't like, that's bad, and one that you're like, I did that. It could be, I chose a great mom. I chose a great husband. I chose a great partner. I chose a great kid. And then think of some that, like, ooh, okay, so this boss that I chose, this coworker, my sister, my brother, whatever, think of those, and I want you to write a letter to yourself. I want you to channel Snoop. First of all, lastly, I'd like to thank me. So instead of writing something to the other being, I want you to write a letter to yourself and thanking yourself. Thanking yourself for the foresight, thanking yourself for the lesson, thanking yourself for the beauty, thanking you for the contracts that you wrote into your life, because what this does is it allows you to trust in you and yourself in the past and in the future, because then you start going into a new space and time. We're beginning, it's the end of a season, it's the end of a cycle, the end of the year is coming. And as we start thinking about who we are becoming and who we want to be, sometimes it's so good to go back and acknowledge ourselves and not acknowledge who you are. And this is like acknowledge, like, damn, thank you, higher self, Mia. Thank you, higher self, Christy, for these soul contracts. So I want you to think of one that you would consider that you would normally consider a negative, I'm air quoting, a negative experience, but you learned and grew from it. And also consider one that you said, I really enjoyed that. And just write a letter to yourself, thanking yourself for that foresight, and move forward and trusting yourself. That's our work of the week, y'all. So get that temple work in.
I love that. Oh. No, the Snoop Dogg thing. It's like, I'd like to.
And lastly, I'd like to thank
me.
I like to thank myself for.
For showing up this morning. I'd like to thank myself for waking up.
Because we don't acknowledge ourselves sometimes, and
I agree.
And this whole episode is about acknowledging the fact that you put some stuff together. Yep. Acknowledge that. Be okay with that. Yes, and sometimes you're like, so you trying to tell me, yes.
Yep.
That dude, yep, you did that. I'm telling you right now. Whoever you thinking about, you like, it ain't no, yep, that too. And we've both, and we're not saying this out of theory and practice. I'm telling you, we have both had these type of experiences and relationships in our life where it took a minute to be okay with that. Okay.
Yep.
What's up, Crystal of the Week?
Crystal of the Week. So first of all, I really like that temple work. So I hope you guys are following that. So this week's featured,
Go ahead.
Oh, this week's featured crystal is iolite.
Iolite, ooh.
Element is wind, and it's good for the third eye. And so iolite offers
wind. Come on, wind.
Oh yeah. Iolite offers to take a person on their inner path to deep self. Iolite is a stone of inner treasures. It helps one to move to the depths of one unconscious and to uncover the lost parts of oneself. This crystal can be an aid for those attempting to access information from past lives. This crystal is also really great for past and alternate life work, as it helps you in viewing other lives while still retaining one's objectivity. And it can help to open the portals of memory so that you can learn and integrate the appropriate past life lessons to assist in your current incarnation. Did you guys hear this?
Okay, that's a perfect one.
Perfect crystal. And so the affirmation for this crystal is, I open myself to the path of inner vision, and I trust that I will be guided to what I need to see for my highest good. I absolutely love that.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what color is iolite?
It's like a blue. It's blue. It's like a.
This one.
Yeah, iolite. I was just at a crystal shop the other day, shopping for someone, and it's a beautiful blue. It kind of reminds me of like a clear lapis. But it's like solid blue. I mean, you can see through it, but it's not like that. It doesn't have the gold specks in it, but
it's kind of. Does it kind of look like angelite maybe, or is it like no? It's
no, like think of a blue clear quartz.
Okay, gotcha.
Or like tanzanite.
Tanzanite,
but it's more of a deeper blue.
I haven't seen that one. Okay,
if I'm not mistaken, I believe.
So you guys, we have been talking for how long, Kristen?
Oh yeah, it is. It has been 58 minutes and 47 seconds.
We're doing good out here in these streets. Good. So you guys, by the way, thank you for tuning in to the live that we did last week.
Oh yeah.
Just want to give you guys a heads up that after season 2, episode 44, which is next week, that will be our last one for the year. And we'll start off 2022. And when I say we got some stuff
we
for
do.
2022 for y'all, that will start off season 3. I cannot believe, Chrissy, that we've been doing this. Like,
I cannot.
You guys, like, but when I tell you, like I said, I was having a pretty little stanky, nasty ass day, and I was like, oh, I need to record today. I'm so excited it's recording day. Yay. It is healing for
It really
us.
is. It really is.
And we love that it resonates with who it resonates with. So we thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you show us some love. Send us a review if you're listening to this on Buzzsprout or Apple or Google, wherever. We appreciate you guys.
Yes.
If you have some questions, you can send it to us on IG at 2 Queens Crystal Things. And don't forget to follow our personal pages.
Yep.
You can follow Christie. She's great for her energy work or crystal healing. Angelic Reiki. She's a sound healer. She has her online store, Sage House Apothecary. Please follow the page. Got some dope pieces in there, and I'll give you a little something. You know what I'm saying? And
thank you.
And then you can find also her personal page where she shares all her juicy stuff for her life story. Christy likes to share with y'all.
I'm an open book,
Christy R. Edwards, and that's a Christy with an IE.
Yes, and a CH.
Oh, thank you. That's a good point. CHRISTIE Edwards. So make sure you follow, you guys.
Like Christie Love, which is who I was named after, the black woman detective in the 70s.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? I'm about to call your parents right now. I did not know.
Yeah. And be sure to follow Mia on her personal page, Wings Unleashed 44444. Now, if that's not synchronicity, I don't know what is.
Saying,
but
I'm out
Mia,
here trying to send the messages.
If I need a reading, I mean, I do see other people for readings, but when I get a reading from Mia, like I already know that that's the truth. And she's also an amazing Akashic record reader. She's also a Reiki practitioner. She too is a sound healer, and she is the creator of the Dragonfly method.
Oh, y'all so sweet.
Yeah, so follow her. But thank you guys.
We love you so much.
We truly do.
We appreciate you.
We would not be here without you.
Let us know what you need, what you want to hear about. We're here for it. So we thank you. And we sending you light, peace, love, and soul.